in that he noticed a shooting pain in his back, sensed his muscles tremble, and heard a pounding in his ears. He could still feel the jolting coach. The lights seemed to waver, the stones to be shifting. Hans rubbed his eyes. The windows of the inn were steamed up, making it impossible for him to see inside. He knocked on the door, where a Christmas wreath still hung. No one came. He tried the frozen handle, then pushed the door open. He saw a corridor lit by oil lamps suspended from hooks. The warmth drew Hans in. From the far end of the corridor came the crackle of an open fire. He struggled to drag the case and trunk inside. He stood beneath one of the lanterns, trying to warm up. With a start, he saw Herr Zeit staring at him from behind the reception desk. "I was on my way to let you in," Herr Zeit said. The innkeeper moved extremely slowly, as if he were trapped between the counter and the wall. He had a huge barrel-shaped belly and smelt of musty fabric. "Where have you come from?" he asked. "I've come from Berlin," said Hans. "Not that it really matters." "It matters to me, young sir," Herr Zeit cut in, not suspecting that Hans had meant something else. "How many nights do you intend to stay?" "Just one, I suppose," said Hans. "I'm not sure yet." "Well, when you've decided, please let me know," said the innkeeper. "We need to be sure which rooms will be available." Herr Zeit searched for a candlestick, then led Hans down the corridor and up a flight of stairs. As Hans watched the rotund figure heaving himself up each step, he was afraid he might come crashing down on top of him. The entire inn smelt of burning oil, the sulphur from the lamp-wicks, and a mixture of sweat and soap. They reached the first-floor landing and carried on up. Hans was surprised to see that all the rooms appeared unoccupied. On the second floor, Herr Zeit paused at a door with the number 7 chalked on it. Recovering his breath, he declared proudly, "This is our best room." He took a battered ring laden with keys out of his pocket, and after several attempts and muttered curses, they entered the room. Candlestick in hand, Herr Zeit plowed his way through the darkness over to the window. When he opened the shutters, there was the sound of creaking wood, and a cloud of dust flew up. Rather than illuminating the room, the feeble light from outside seemed to seep into the darkness like a gas. "It gets quite sunny in the mornings," Herr Zeit explained, "because it faces east." Hans screwed up his eyes to examine the room. He could make out a table and 2 chairs, a camp bed with a pile of folded woolen blankets on it, a zinc bathtub, a rusty chamber pot, a wash-basin on a stand, a water jug, a brick-and-stone chimney-piece with a ledge that seemed too narrow to accommodate any objects. "Only rooms 3 and 7 have a hearth," Herr Zeit announced, and beside it were several tools, a small shovel, a poker, a pair of blackened tongs, an almost bald brush. In the fireplace lay 2 charred logs. On the wall opposite the door, between table and tub, Hans's attention was drawn to a small painting that looked to him like a watercolor, although he could not see it properly. "One more thing," Herr Zeit concluded solemnly, taking the lamp over to the table and sliding his hand along the surface. "It's pure oak." Hans stroked the table contentedly. He glanced at the candlesticks with their tallow candles and at the rusty oil lamp. "I'll take it," he said. He was immediately aware of Herr Zeit helping him out of his frock-coat and hanging it on one of the nails in the wall beside the door, the coat stand. "Wife!" the innkeeper bellowed, as if he had just woken up. "Wife, come up here. We have a guest." Instantly there was the sound of footsteps on the stairs. A broad-beamed woman appeared in the doorway, wearing skirts and an apron with a huge pouch over her bosom. Unlike her husband, Frau Zeit moved swiftly and efficiently. In a trice she had changed the bed-sheets for a slightly less yellowing set, given the room a cursory sweep, and vanished downstairs again to fill the water jug. When she reappeared with it, Hans drank greedily, almost without pausing for breath. "Will you bring his luggage up?" Herr Zeit asked. His wife sighed. Her husband decided the sigh meant he would, and so after nodding to Hans, he in turn disappeared down the stairs. Lying on his back on the bed, Hans could feel with his toes how rough the sheets were. Closing his eyes, he thought he could hear scratching sounds from beneath the floorboards. He drifted off to sleep, letting all his cares slide away, and said to himself, "Tomorrow I'll gather my things and move on."